Hello, this is Ruth Marie Hamilton, and today I'm going to be reading from my mum's book, The Britwhistles Win a Prize, by Wendy Hamilton. Let us begin. Alfred's secret purchase was hidden in the tool chest under his workbench. He opened the chest and peered into the box of Molly's Emporium. The selection of tricks in there was so magnificent, it was hard to choose between them. In the end, he picked out a villainous-looking snake. "You little beauty," he said, handling it as though it were a real one. "Next time the postman comes, Nelly will get a big surprise." He crept along the driveway and peered down the road. His neighbour was a dot in the distance, so he slipped the snake into her letterbox. When Alfred got back to the attic, Myrtle expected him to still be angry with her, but to her surprise, he was whistling. "I promise it'll be a big one," she said. "What will be big?" said Alfred. In his excitement over the snake, he had forgotten about their little tiff over the banister. "The apple pie, of course," said Myrtle, sweeping cobwebs off the ceiling. "Oh, the pie, yes, that'll be nice." His mind was still on the snake. He put down the bucket a little too hard, and water sloshed over to the side and splashed onto the floor. As he mopped it up, he wished Peter and Sally were already come, so he had someone to share his secret with. "Do you think Nelly will scream?" he asked. "Why would Nelly scream?" said Myrtle, dropping the end of the broom onto the floor. Alfred's eyes flew open. He hadn't meant to speak out loud. "Because," he scanned the room for inspiration, because why? "Because she will be shocked to see the windows of this house clean," finished Alfred in a rush of words. "I suppose she will," said Myrtle, sweeping down a big cobweb. "They've been dirty for ages." The scream took a long time to come, but when it came, it was loud and shrill. Myrtle, who had just finished polishing the window, was pleased. "I thought you were exaggerating when you said Nelly would scream over clean windows, Alfie, but you're quite right. You're such a good judge of character." She leaned out the window and waved at her neighbour. "I hope you enjoyed our little surprise. I'll deal with the ones below this afternoon." At this, Nelly gave another shriek and ran down her driveway. "That was odd," said Myrtle. "I wonder why she rushed off like that." "I think she's worried about snakes under her letterbox," said Alfred, trying not to burst out laughing. "What a strange woman," said Myrtle, giving a final wipe to the windowsill. They continued working, and by lunchtime the rooms in the attic were spotless. "We have a lot to do before Christmas," said Myrtle, looking around the bare rooms. "How long do you think it will take you to build the beds?" "Quite some time," said Alfred vaguely. "They can't be ordinary beds." "Remember how Peter and Sally liked the pictures and Goldilocks and the Three Bears when they were little," said Myrtle. "Perhaps you could make beds like those." "Splendid idea," said Alfred. "I'll start on them as soon as I get my workshop set up. And I shall join the patchwork club and learn to make patchwork quilts." So early on Wednesday morning, Myrtle baked a cake, and when it was cool, she put it in a cake tin and popped it in her basket. "I've left a meat pie in the fridge for your lunch, Alfie," she said as she put on her hat. "I will be away for most of the day, but I'll be back in time to make dinner." She kissed him. "Have a nice day, dear." Once Myrtle was gone, Alfred rushed into his workshop and dragged the tool chest out from under his workbench. He had discovered, by a bit of spying himself, that Nelly spent most of Wednesday morning watching the soap operas. Alfred was a noisy man by nature, but he could be silent when he wanted. Nelly heard nothing as he attached a tiny pulley to her porch and slipped a fishing line around it. The nylon ran in a loop from Nelly's house to a small pulley on Alfred's workshop and was almost invisible. "She will never see it," said Alfred to Marmaduke when he had finished. The cat watched lazily as Alfred dipped into his box of tricks. "Beautiful," he said, holding up a spider to the light. "So realistic." He pulled out several more and attached a long string to each of them. Then he tied them to the nylon on his side of the fence. "Let's see how this goes, Marmaduke," said Alfred, pulling the top of the loop towards him. As he pulled, the spiders on the bottom string slid towards Nelly's house a little way. Alfred kept pulling, and soon a long line of spiders dangled outside Nelly's door. He had only just got them into position when he heard music coming from Nelly's house and the sound of a postman's bike in the distance. "Good. Where the heart churns is finished," Alfred muttered to himself. "She'll soon be out to clear the mailbox." He fixed his gaze on Nelly's back door, and soon it opened. Alfred jiggled the fishing line, so the spiders jumped and leapt, but Nelly passed under them without noticing anything. "No," said Alfred, rubbing his chin. "What went wrong, Marmaduke?" While Nelly cleared her letterbox, Alfred studied the problem, and by the time she was halfway down her driveway, he knew what was wrong. "I didn't allow for the back door steps. I should have made the strings a little longer. If only I could get her to jump up." As if the cat knew what he was saying, Marmaduke looked at the train whistle mounted on the side of the shed. "The very thing," said Alfred, stooping to stroke him. "How fortunate! Myrtle insisted that I put that out here." He stretched out his arm and took hold of the whistle string, while his other hand grasped the nylon line. Wait for it," he whispered to the cat. "She's almost under them. 1, 2, 3, now!" He jiggled the line violently as he pulled the whistle string. Shrieked the whistle. Shrieked Nelly. The letters flew out of her hand as she leaped high into the air. It was a magnificent leap, just high enough for the spiders to jump in front of her face and land in her hair. There were more shrieks and more leaps. Laughed Alfred Henry, slapping his knees and stomping his feet. His face was red with mischief, and he looked like he was doing a little dance. Nelly, hearing the laughter, stopped leaping and looked at the spiders more closely. That was when she saw the fishing line running from her back door. She followed it to the boundary and stood on the bottom rail of the fence. Alfred was standing on the steps of his workshop, still laughing, when Nelly's irate face popped over the top of the fence palings. She glared as she shook her fist at him. "I'll get the police onto you, Alfred Britwhistle, if you do that again," she shouted. "It's a bit of fun to make up for spying on us," said Alfred smoothly. "I did not spy on you," lied Nelly, turning red. "Yes, you did." "I did not." "Well, we can pretend you did it, but we both know you did," said Alfred. Nelly gave a snort of rage, jumped down and stomped back into her house. Alfred waited until her door slammed shut. Then, whistling merrily, he went to get the pie Myrtle had left for his lunch. That is all for today. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.